Welcome to Ireland, one of the most captivating places on Earth that has delighted visitors throughout the ages. In this video, we'll be stepping into a world of enchantment and mystical wonder as we explore underrated things to do in Ireland that you probably have never heard of. From ancient castles without all the crowds to mystical coastal gems and lesser-known scenic drives, we'll take you beyond the tourist trail to visit places where time seems to stand still. Whether you're planning your first trip to the Emerald Isle or looking for new spots to explore, these off-the-beaten-path locations should top your bucket list. Visiting Ireland is all about making memories that last a lifetime, so let's get started. First up, we have Kinbane Castle, located in Northern Ireland, about 3 hours north of Dublin. I wanted to start off strong with one of my favorite castle ruins in the entire country. Built in the mid-1500s, this place is incredibly magical, and visiting here will make you feel like you stepped back in time. Now, when you arrive, you will walk down 140 steps to get to Kinbane Castle. As you descend, you will be greeted with breathtaking, sweeping coastal views. Keep in mind that these steps are quite steep, so conserve your energy because walking back up them is the hard part. Once you're at the bottom, you can explore the small castle ruin. I highly recommend walking out to the end of Kinbane Head, and if you're lucky and the day is clear, you can see the nearby Rathlin Island and even all the way to the coast of Scotland. In all of my visits, Kinbane Castle has never been busy and is a great castle off the beaten path to explore if you're looking for something beautiful and unique. Next up is Hag's Head, located in County Clare. Now, I feel like everyone has heard of the Cliffs of Moher, and I'm here to tell you that parking and seeing them at the visitor center is chaotic with lots of tour buses and people. But what if I told you that you could see the cliffs without all of the crowds and for a fraction of the cost? Welcome to Hag's Head, the southernmost point of the Cliffs of Moher. For only a few euros, you can park on a local farmer's land and walk on the trails for about 10 minutes out to the edge of these breathtaking cliffs. Now, unlike the popular viewpoints at the visitor center, the landscape from Hag's Head is raw and untamed, with waves crashing below, endless skies above, and no tour buses in sight. If you really want to see the Cliffs of Moher but prefer solitude, this is the perfect lesser-known option for an unforgettable experience. Number 3 is Skellig Michael, located 7 miles off the coast of County Kerry in southwestern Ireland. This place had been on my bucket list for years, and visiting it was a dream come true, and it's even more incredible in person. Your journey back in time starts with a boat ride that takes you the 7 miles out to this remote island. Tickets for Skellig Michael landing tours sell out very quickly, so make sure to book well in advance and keep a flexible schedule. Now, when you arrive, you will climb over 600 stone steps and walk the same path that ancient monks climbed over 1,000 years ago. Now, I'm going to be honest, these steps are quite steep, so take this into consideration before booking a landing tour. That being said, what I did love was how we got to walk up first, so we got the hardest part over with. At the summit, you will be transported back in time as you stand surrounded by 6th century beehive huts and endless ocean. Skellig Michael is one of the only UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Ireland, and as a result, your time on the island is limited to just 2.5 hours. Take it from me, this time goes quickly as you consider the time it takes to climb up and down the 618 steps and to explore the summit. Part of this time is also taken up with safety briefings and a quick bathroom break. The tranquility of this remote island, untouched by modern life, evokes a sense of awe that's hard to describe, which is why I recommend that everyone who is able visit Skellig Michael. Up next is Lismore Castle, located 2.5 hours south of Dublin in County Waterford. This is one of the most beautiful castles in Ireland and one of the best gardens that I've ever visited, which keeps me coming back whenever I'm in the country. While you can always view the castle from outside the walls, the gardens are only open between March and October, so make sure to take that into consideration when planning. Now, Lismore Castle is home to both upper and lower gardens, and each one is just gorgeous and unique from the other. The upper garden is more curated and a mix of ornamental borders, walls, and terraces, while the lower garden is more magical and natural. You descend into the beautiful lower section through an old riding house, which is super unique. There are so many stunning flowers here and places to explore, and I love walking through this tunnel of ancient yew trees. The trees actually predate the gardens that they're located in. When you're done exploring the castle gardens, I recommend walking outside the walls for another unique viewpoint from the nearby bridge over the River Blackwater. I have visited Lismore Castle many times and it has never been busy, making it the perfect underrated castle to visit in Ireland. Number 5, we have the Ring of Beara, located in County Kerry in the southwest of Ireland. Now, you've probably heard of the famous Ring of Kerry, which is extremely popular with tourists and filled with tour buses, but what you may not know is that the next peninsula to the south is called Beara Peninsula. It is home to the Ring of Beara, which is an incredible scenic coastal driving route that feels totally wild and off the tourist trail. Now, while I have perfect phone service driving on the Ring of Kerry, phone service is delightfully spotty on the Ring of Beara, which lets me know that I probably won't be seeing tour buses filled with people. You can drive the whole peninsula in around 2 hours without stopping, but I recommend taking your time and really getting to know this incredible area. I suggest spending 1 to 3 nights here or more if you have the time, as there is so much to see and do, you will truly never see it all. This island is also home to some of the prettiest and most colorful small towns in Ireland. If you love absolutely jaw-dropping nature, driving on roads with mountains on one side and beautiful coastline on the other, and not a lot of people around, please do yourself a favor and put the Ring of Beara on your list. Number 6 is the Dursey Island cable car, located at the very end of the Beara Peninsula in County Kerry. This is so unique that I had to include it as a separate stop, so if you're driving the Ring of Beara, I highly recommend also including this as a spot. The Dursey Island cable car is the only cable car in all of Ireland and the only cable car that crosses open seawater in all of Europe, which makes it a truly unique thing to do on your trip. Now, you must pay in cash to ride the cable car, and the trip takes around 15 minutes each way. You cannot pre-book the journey, and you just have to show up cash in hand for a truly local experience. I highly recommend checking the timetables online as they change seasonally. The cable car can fit up to 6 people, and yes, you have to open and close the doors yourself. The short journey is honestly exhilarating as you cross the ocean at 25 meters high or more than 80 feet in the air. And of course, yes, you can feel the cable car shaking. It's honestly such a thrilling experience. Now, once you arrive on Dursey Island, you can go hiking, hang out near the cable car and go bird or whale watching, or visit a historical burial ground. The Dursey Island cable car is the only of its kind in both Ireland and all of Europe, making it an incredibly underrated activity for your trip. Up next, we have Ballinastoe Woods, located in County Wicklow, just 1 hour south of Dublin. Now, you may have heard of Glendalough, which is incredibly popular and quite busy, but just a short 20-minute drive through the mountains brings you to Ballinastoe Woods. This is a beautiful 2.3-mile loop trail through the woods that look like they're out of Grimm's fairy tale. Of course, you can choose to walk as much or as little of the trail as you like, but it's worth a visit, especially if you like magical things. Whatever you do, make sure to stop at the Loch Tay viewpoint and enjoy the sweeping vistas of the mountains and lake below. Number 8, we have Irish Bakeries, and yes, you heard that right, Irish Bakeries. I cannot express to you enough how absolutely fantastic these are, which is why I had to devote an entire section to them. They can be found all over the country, and some of the best ones are the ones you just stumble upon when walking around a small town. I'm not even exaggerating, I literally dream about Irish eclairs made with fresh cream. Now, if you're heading to Northern Ireland, and you should because it's incredible, visit something called a garden centre. They are essentially what you would expect a garden center to be, except they also have the most outstanding cakes and pastries. Visit an Irish bakery, you won't regret it. Next up, we have the Rock of Cashel, located in County Tipperary, around 2 hours southwest of Dublin. As you drive into the town of Cashel, you are immediately greeted by the Rock of Cashel towering over the city. I always get a warm feeling seeing this view on each and every visit. The majority of the building that you will see was built between the 12th and 13th centuries. Now, that being said, Cashel is said to have been the site of the conversion of the King of Munster by St. Patrick himself around 432 AD. Now, I'm going to be honest, this is one of the more popular sites on my list, but I still feel like tons of people visiting Ireland don't know about it and head to the usual destinations instead. I really want to emphasize just how captivating the Rock of Cashel is and encourage you to visit, especially if you're here on a road trip. There is a fee to enter, but it is free to walk around the exterior. You can even enter a local sheep field for a really spectacular view outside of the Rock of Cashel and the verdant green landscape below. They don't call it the Emerald Isle for no reason. If you're visiting during the off-season or shoulder season, there will be virtually nobody here as well. Make sure to put this place on your list, it is really worth it. Number 10 is Hore Abbey, located in County Tipperary, just a 5-minute walk away from the Rock of Cashel. Now, these are two completely different experiences, and you should for sure visit both of them. This ruin is Ireland's last medieval Cistercian monastery, and it was founded around 1272. Today, it stands in ruins that are 100% free to explore. Although there is some debate, Hore Abbey is said to have gotten its name because of the original Irish translation, which meant Grey Abbey, as well as the color of the Cistercian habit, which is a similar color to the hoar frost. To get here, you have to walk through a field that is usually filled with cows before you are greeted with the mystical ruins. I never see a lot of people here, and either people don't know about it or don't take the time to visit. This is what adds to the mystery of Hore Abbey, as it's just you wandering around an ancient monastery with the companionship of birds who call the crumbling walls home. You can also see some unique views of Rock of Cashel from here as well. The ruins are both gloomy and beautiful, and a great place to add to your list if you're already planning on visiting the Rock of Cashel. Up next is Conor Pass, located in County Kerry on the Dingle Peninsula. This is the highest mountain pass in Ireland, and the views from the road are breathtaking. Conor Pass provides the most dramatic and scenic way to cross from the north to the south of the Dingle Peninsula. It is a narrow and twisting road that runs 12 kilometers or around 7 miles, and driving it isn't for the faint of heart. The steepest part of the road weaves its way around sharp cliffs and around lakes. There are also parts of this drive where cars cannot pass, as there is only enough room for one car at a time. There are 2 viewpoints that you can stop at along the way, including both a waterfall and one viewpoint at the very top of the pass. If driving through a steep and winding road through the highest mountain pass in Ireland sounds like your idea of a good time, put Conor Pass on your list. The views are some of the best in the country. Number 12, we have White Park Bay, located along the North Antrim coast in Northern Ireland. If you're looking for one of the best beaches in the country that is totally underrated, White Park Bay should be on your list. This beach is never packed with cars or tons of people because you must park some distance away and then walk down onto the beach. Even on a busy day, there is plenty of room for relaxation and quiet solitude. The ancient dunes and grasslands that run along the backside of the beach are even home to rare plants, including many orchids. While you're in the area, I also recommend visiting the nearby Ballintoy Harbor, which is just a 10-minute drive away. This was used as a Game of Thrones filming location, but even if you've never seen the series, it's worth a stop. You can access the harbor by a spectacular and steep winding road. Even though it's just 10 minutes away from White Park Bay's serene golden sand, it offers a completely different waterfront experience with sea stacks, rocky islands, and tide pools. I do recommend visiting both of these stops as they really showcase the diversity of Ireland's coast. Next up is Cobh, located in County Cork along the southern coast. I feel like many people visit the large city of Cork, but may not know about the adorable coastal town of Cobh, which is only 30 minutes away. Cobh is truly one of the cutest and most colorful small towns in Ireland. Some of the houses here are built on a steep hill and are lovingly referred to as the deck of cards houses. St. Colman's Cathedral towers over the city and can be seen from all around the waterfront and on top of the hills. You are also welcome to visit inside the church, which is just spectacular. The Cobh waterfront is filled with even more colorful buildings, shops, and restaurants. I love walking along the harbor and taking in the incredible views. Cobh is also known as the Titanic's last port of call in 1912, and you can visit a museum while you're in the area. This historic and colorful small town is a wonderfully unique stop to add to any Irish itinerary. Number 14 is Slea Head Drive, located at the end of the Dingle Peninsula in County Kerry. Remember when we said that everyone was always visiting the busy Ring of Kerry? If you're looking for underrated drives and less crowds, choose Slea Head Drive instead. This is one of Ireland's most scenic routes, and it takes you past some of the most jaw-dropping views in the country. Now, the best part of this drive with the most incredible sea views is when the road narrows into just a single lane. There are pullouts along the route if you want to stop to take in the breathtaking landscape or if you need to yield to let oncoming traffic pass. I highly recommend driving in a clockwise direction and spending at least a few hours exploring the sites for the best experience possible. One of my favorite spots that you must stop at is Duncan Pier. Walk down to the bottom and take in the views of the nearby Blasket Islands. I also love stopping at Coominoley Beach to see some of the prettiest blue water. The entire Slea Head Drive is incredibly enchanting and shouldn't be missed. Up next, we have Dunluce Castle, located along Northern Ireland's Antrim coast. This is one of my favorite castles that I have ever been to. It feels shrouded in mystery and captivates my attention each and every time I visit. Dunluce Castle was built around the 16th century and sits dramatically close to the edge of a cliff that plunges straight into the sea. Now, it's not every day that you get to see a ruined medieval castle perched on the edge of the coast. You can tour the inside of the castle, but make sure to search online in advance as hours change with the season. You can also enjoy the castle from the road if you happen to miss the tours. When I think of a mysterious Irish castle, Dunluce Castle is the first place that comes to mind. It truly is one of a kind. Number 16 is Dunseverick Castle, located just a 15-minute drive down the Antrim coast from Dunluce Castle. Dunseverick is easily the most crumbled ruin on our list, but still one that I find myself returning to each and every visit. This castle was fortified in the 5th century AD by an ancient chieftain. It is also said that St. Patrick visited Dunseverick Castle, where he baptized a local man who later became the Bishop of Ireland. It is completely free to visit and never busy. You can choose to view the ancient ruins from the parking lot, or you can climb over the stile and into the field to explore. I recommend walking down into the valley and then back up to the other side, where you can get up close and personal to these 5th century ruins. Keep in mind that this walk is often quite wet and muddy, so wear appropriate shoes. I personally always wear wellies. The coastal view from the hill where the castle was built truly feels like stepping into a fairy tale. You can also see the Rathlin Island and sometimes even the Scottish Islands in the distance. Although it's a small ruin, I find Dunseverick Castle to be incredibly captivating and deserving of being on your Ireland bucket list. Next up, we have Rock of Dunamase, located in County Leisha, just 1 hour south of Dublin. This is an imposing and magnificent example of Celtic fortification, and it overlooks a stunning valley. This place is truly spectacular and never busy, so it's perfect to explore in solitude. The Rock of Dunamase dates back over 2,000 years old, and the ruins are honestly in excellent condition for being that old. It is completely free to visit, and I suggest spending around an hour to fully explore the area and enjoy the views of the countryside. Now, I'm going to be honest, it does take a little bit to climb to the top, so make sure to factor that into your itinerary. Rock of Dunamase is incredibly underrated, but so worth it. Number 18 is the Swiss Cottage, located in County Tipperary, about 2 hours south of Dublin. Now, a Swiss cottage probably isn't what you would expect to find in Ireland, which is exactly why it's on this list. It was built in the early 1800s to resemble an alpine cottage, and it is now used as a way to explore bygone times. There is a small entry fee, and you have the choice to go on a guided tour of the interior. Now, if you visit during the right time of year, you will get to enjoy the beautiful flowers that surround the cottage. The roses are particularly spectacular, and the whole place is just lovely. The Swiss cottage was meant to be an idyllic fantasy of country life, and that feeling is apparent even to this day. Up next, we have the town of Cahir, located in County Tipperary, just a 5-minute drive away from the Swiss cottage. I highly recommend building both of these stops into your itinerary, as they are just so close to each other. Now, of course, you're going to want to make a stop at Cahir Castle, which was built around 1142. This is one of the largest and best preserved castles in Ireland, and it's located along a beautiful river. Even if you're just walking around the outside of this castle, you can see that it's incredibly impressive and imposing. If you visit, there's a flock of geese that calls the exterior of Cahir Castle home, and they're always so fun to watch. I also suggest taking the time to walk around and explore the cute city center of Cahir and enjoy the small town vibe of this underrated city. Finally, we have Mussenden Temple, located in Northern Ireland's County Londonderry. It is perched dramatically on a 120-foot cliff top high above the Atlantic Ocean. When visiting here, you will also see spectacular views of Downhill Strand, the beautiful beach below. This temple was built in 1785 and actually was in danger of being lost to the sea due to erosion. Thanks to the National Trust, the cliff was stabilized, allowing Mussenden Temple to be preserved for everyone to enjoy. The ruin of Downhill House is located on the same property as the temple, and it's one of the few remaining buildings of its kind. You are free to walk around it at your leisure. I love visiting here, as you get to see 2 enchanting ruins in the same stop. Ireland is truly one of the most captivating places in the world, filled with ancient enchantment and wonder for a good reason. I hope this video shows you that there is still so much of Ireland left to explore that you may have never heard of. I hope that you put some of these underrated places on your Ireland bucket list for your next trip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and tell me where in Ireland I should explore next.